Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive. As promised, this is a review of the entire process of building this WLToys 12428 crawler conversion. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, guys, there is not much WLToys left in this thing. It has been heavily modded. So what I'm going to do is try and go through right from the very beginning to as it sits now and let you know all the changes from WLToys parts and which ones made the biggest improvement in performance, and like which WLToys parts and which cheap parts are poor and cause no end of troubles, guys. To give you an idea of if you want to build your own crawler, what's worth spending money on and what isn't. So back in the very first go around with this, guys, it had the WLToys electronics. So it had the servo, it had the combo ESC and radio. And it had actually the one thing I never ran, guys, was the WLToys motor. I switched to a 550 right away, and actually if you saw my last video, I think that was a mistake. This actually has a 540 in it right now, and that made a big difference in crawling performance, guys. It crawled way better. So in hindsight, that was a mistake, and I can't tell you for sure that running a 540 will make it crawl better in that WLToys configuration, but I'm pretty sure it actually does, guys. So take that into account too. Those WLToys electronics are not totally futile, guys, but as I progress here, I'll let you know why some of them are not so good. Actually, maybe we'll start with that, guys. So electronics. So what happened? Why did we upgrade the electronics, guys? Number one by far, in a crawler, you don't want forward brake reverse. You want forward reverse. You want that instant reversing. You need that when you're crawling, guys. If you're going to convert to WLToys and you just want like a trail truck, you just want to drive along on the trails when you go for a walk, let the dog chase it, stuff like that, it's probably not going to be that big of a problem for you guys. But if you like crawling, not being able to go into reverse directly, having to do that double tap is not fun, guys. It is not fun at all. It takes away from the crawling experience massively. Could not agree with people that complain about that more. It's totally true. So that is a massive reason to upgrade your ESC, guys. And a true crawler ESC like this Hobbywing, or sorry, not Hobbywing, like this Hexfly that comes with the Red Cat Gen 8. This ESC is a significant upgrade, guys. It crawls pretty well with this ESC. It's not bad at all. It's pretty much on par with like a Hobbywing 1040, or sorry, 1060. 1040 or 1060 probably. Very similar, guys. Similar crawling experience. There's all kinds of, similar ESCs in this sort of range. A 40 to 60 amp crawler ESC, and I mean, I would go for a cheap one that's well reviewed, guys, that people use and like. And I mean, honestly, that Hobbywing 1060 is pretty hard to go wrong with, guys. If you got a few extra pesos, guys, the Hobbywing 1080 is super programmable, and having now tried it, it's awesome, guys. It works really well. It's money well spent. It's not that expensive. There's plenty of stock ESCs that come with crawlers that are not as good, that will cost you more money if you're just replacing your stock one because it died or something. I mean, if you're going to spend in Canada, it's about 65 bucks these days. If you're going to spend 65 bucks anyway, just get the Hobbywing 1080, guys. It's awesome. It's a really good ESC. Now, servo, that's another thing we went through a few, guys. The Red Cat, or sorry, why do I want to keep saying Red Cat? The WLToys stock 12428 servo is a 12th scale servo. It's a smaller servo, guys. And it did last a while, and I had run it a bunch in the WLToys before I put it in this crawler. But what happened, guys, I took out the gears in the servo. They packed it in hard. So at some point, you're going to have to put a servo in because your crawler will destroy that stock 12428 servo. And essentially, what that means, guys, is that you're going to want to upgrade your electronics. You're going to want a radio, ESC, servo. And you can get a radio easily for about $30 US. You can get a servo easily for 15 bucks US, easily. You have a wide range to choose from on Banggood, and they're pretty good, guys. And then, like I said, the ESC, if you're on a budget, I would go with that Hobbywing 1060. If you're not on a budget, go with that Hobbywing 1080, or something bigger and fancier, whatever floats your boat. And like I said, so the total there is anywhere from about, what would that be, 50, 30, 80, about $100 US to sky's the limit, guys. You can spend as much as you want, but $100 US gets you all electronics, and that gets you a really good ESC, guys. Like, that's with the 1080. You can get a good radio easily for $30, guys. You can get a Dumbo RC or O-Star. I have that O-Star AX6S 4-channel that I really like. The Dumbo RC 4-channel is really good. There's 6 channels that are really good. If you want to spend a little more money, guys, oh, I can't remember the model. I'll post it. It's another inexpensive but super snazzy cheap radio. It's completely eluding me now. Brain cramp. Anyways, like I said, I'll put a picture of it, and you guys can consider that one. It's about $75 US. Not a stupid amount of money. Really good radio for that kind of money, guys. 6-channel, every adjustment you can think of, computer presets for different models. It's awesome, guys. Really good. Only downside, the receivers are not super cheap in that unit. One of the really nice things about that O-Star AX6S, guys, is the receivers are dirt cheap. So if you want to get like 5 receivers, put them in a bunch of different models, they're less than $10 each, guys. They're like $8 on Banggood. Really inexpensive way to put the same receiver in a whole bunch of cars, guys. And I personally like that radio. If you don't, that's fine. It's got the foamy steering wheel. It's quite nice, guys. So that's a totally worth it upgrade. So electronics, at some point you're gonna want to upgrade if you get serious about crawlers, guys, and you're gonna have to spend a few bucks. Now the nice thing about that, and the nice thing about that coming at it from this WLToys conversion, guys, is that you're getting exactly what you want right from the get-go. There are so few RC cars out there these days that come with electronics that are actually good. Like, it's amazing how many RC cars have some element of their electronics as a weak spot. Servo is very common, radio's common, ESC's common, like, you name it. Like, every brand seems to have a quirk where it's like they stick a crappy radio in. That's very common. Or, the ESC's not particularly good. Yeah, usually the ESC's are okay. Servo, crappy servos, that's really common, guys. Servos that don't last as long as servos maybe should. So again, you can spend as much money as you want on this stuff, guys. You can get a $100 servo easily. To me, it's a waste of money. Buy 4 or 5 cheap servos, and when one packs it in, just stick another one in. Problem solved, guys. These days, a $15 US servo is really good, guys. Like, is it as good as a $100 servo? No, but it's way cheaper, guys. You don't have to spend so much money. The torque is good. The gears are decent. They don't, they last a decent length of time. Like, anyway, do what you want, guys. But I mean, that's my nickel's worth. The motor is in a crawler. The beauty is if you run brushed, the motor's the least of your worries, guys. You can get a cheap motor on eBay or Banggood or whatever. Super easy, guys. And the whole buy local, half the time you're going to get one of these motors in your hobby shop, and they're going to mark it up 2-3 times the price out of China, and it's the exact same motor, guys. All they did was get it to you, and they're charging you all that extra money. Like, I'm as big a buy local guy as anybody else, but to me, if all they're doing is saving me the hassle of ordering it, I'll order it and pay way less. That's my call, right? Alright, so the electronics are all a significant upgrade, and the main thing that drove the upgrade was the servo packing it in, because once that 5-wire servo packs it in, you're out of luck, guys. Like, you either buy another 5-wire servo for the WLToys, or you just upgrade and have a servo you can use with anything, instead of just, one of these cheap Chinese receiver ESC combo units. Let's see here. Shocks. Okay, so the next thing you're going to be tempted to run is the WLToys shocks, and they do actually work, guys. There's two problems with those WLToys shocks. First problem, they're kind of stiff, guys. The springs are quite stiff, and there's no oil dampening. Believe it or not, that is not your biggest problem. They don't work that bad if you get the orientation right, guys. The biggest problem is actually that the range of travel is not that much. They travel way less than like these cheap Chinese ones that I'm using here. So what the problem you run into is that your suspension travel is not so good with those WLToys shocks, guys. Is it the end of the world? No. Like I said, if you're running, just doing some trail driving, it'll work okay. As soon as you get into any crawling, guys, you lose so much articulation that it's a bummer, guys. It doesn't work that well. That's somewhat surprisingly, that's the biggest reason that you're gonna need to upgrade those shocks. So there's plenty of choices out there, guys. These ones are super fancy. They look really nice. They're they're pretty well built. I got these dirt cheap, guys, 25 Canadian pesos for a set of 4. They're okay, guys. They're not bad. Surprisingly, I don't have the other set handy, guys, or I'd show them to you, but I ran them on my totally built from scratch rock bouncer, and they're just they're like just a plain straight up oil filled shock, and they work really well, guys, and they were dirt cheap, less than 20 Canadian dollars, like, practically free. Those are really decent shocks, guys. In a crawler, they work awesome. They're very similar to the Red Cat Gen 8 shocks, and yeah, they work fine, guys. I would actually recommend those. They're dirt cheap, and in a crawler, they work really well. So shocks is definitely an upgrade. Like I said, you can run those WLToys ones, and they do work, but they're far from perfect, guys. They're far from perfect. So shocks, massive upgrade, guys. Wheels and tires. The WLToys wheels and tires can be used, but they're small, guys. They're about this tall, guys. Instead of, these are 110. The WLToys, if memory serves, are 95. So they're quite a bit shorter, guys. They go up to about there. And like I said, they work. And again, if you're doing some trail driving, if they suit the body that you want to run, if you want to run a body and you want it to look like a stock vehicle, that smaller tire actually, can look really good. So, you definitely can use them. Another downside to those guys is that they are a smaller tire bead circumference on the outside as on the inside. I think that's how it goes. The inside one's bigger. Pretty sure. Anyways, one smaller, bigger. Like, they don't fit on a normal wheel. That's what I'm getting at, guys. They don't fit on a normal 1.9 rim. So you can't just use the tires on a different set of wheels, guys. If you want a different set of wheels, you got to get a different set of tires too. And the only downside to these cheap Chinese metal wheels, guys, if you're running that stock WLToys gearing and motor and whatnot, is that there's a lot of weight there, and heat is definitely something you're going to have to worry about if you want to do that. So if you start upgrading to metal wheels and big tires and whatnot, just be real careful that you're paying attention to the motor temperatures. And the way you solve that problem, cheap, guys, is if you run that WLToys center gearbox that I made up, all you got to do, guys, get yourself the adjustable motor mount and a much smaller pinion. I think that WLToys pinion, if I remember correctly, is 18 tooth. And I've run, I believe, a 14. I ordered a set of 5 pinions for cheap, and they're really good for the money, guys. They were, I can't remember, not much, guys. They were a real bargain. I was kind of expecting them to be super crappy, but they're not. They're actually nice gears. And I mean, those small pinions aren't super easy to come by anyways. It's just one of those things, like, it's definitely something you'll notice. Whereas with this gearbox, guys, it comes with a pinion, and you can use other pinions, and basically you don't have to run such a small pinion, guys. It works fine the way it is. So somewhere along the way, sticking in one of these cheapo gearboxes is not a terrible upgrade, guys. But you can, like I said, you can run that stock gearbox mod that I made, and it does work, no problem, guys. Alright. Another thing you're going to need to do, guys, is upgrade at least one drive shaft. You can use the stock WLToys with a modded piece, and it actually is way more durable than I thought it would be. Mine finally did break, but I wasn't running any screws into it from the outside of the drive shaft, and if you do, it'll definitely last longer, guys. Now the downside is that for the other end, you're going to need a drive shaft. Drive shafts are not the cheapest part, guys. It's just one of those things you have to spend money on. and they're not crazy expensive, you know, compared to like a factory axial drive shaft and cost you like $50. But I mean, a drive shaft minimum, you're looking at like $10 each, and you do need a long one and a short one. And they typically are much cheaper in pairs, so you end up spending like $50 on drive shafts. It's super annoying, guys. It is what it is. You're going to need drive shafts. Oh, while we're under here, the other thing, I ended up with 2 sets of links, guys. 2 different crawlers, and these cheapo links, guys, totally worth $20. They've gotten more expensive lately. The cheapest I've seen them in Canadian pesos is more like $30. At $30, they're a little pricey. I would definitely be more tempted to try making some 3D printed plastic ones and see how well they work. I farted around with those, and I just kind of gave up because $20 was so cheap. Actually, I paid less than $20. I'm rounding up on the first set that I bought, and the second set that I got were like 15. They were really cheap, guys. So, you know, if you can find a set of links for cheap, just get yourself a set of links. You get nice ball ends, even ball ends. Just the ball ends by themselves are worth, you know, $20 worth of money. You can't. It's hard to get ball ends for cheap, guys. So you'll need a set of links. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, I'm running this skid plate. I got this for $8. That's why I'm running it. The plastic 3D printed skid plate works just fine, guys. So you definitely don't need the metal skid plate. One of the nice things, guys, it comes with a bunch of screws. Screws are not free, so anytime you buy a part and it comes with a schwack of screws that you can use, to me you're ahead because you're saving some money in the long run. Same goes with these metal frame rails, guys. I used these because I got them for $14, and they came with a bunch of screws. And you know, why would I mess around with 3D printed plastic frame rails when I can get a set so cheap? So those work really well, and like I said, come with a bunch of screws. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? And then all the stuff, like all the add-ons for the chassis and whatnot, are all 3D printed, and I have no temptation whatsoever to buy fancy schmancy Chinese parts for any of that. Like you can get carbon fiber battery tray, you can get a carbon fiber receiver box, you know, you can get all kinds of neat stuff. Personally, I'm not even tempted by any of that stuff, so it's up to you. You know, in that kit that I posted, you get the cross members, bumper mounts, battery tray up front if you want to run it. This one I don't think I've posted yet. It's a battery tray in the back, lets you run a big battery. That actually works really well, guys, getting the weight in the back. I don't know, I'm trying to think, I read somewhere that was a bad thing. I think maybe it was a video on YouTube or something, but I gotta say, in my opinion, the honcho style, like running the battery in the back, oh my god, it works so much better. The back end is way more planted. It crawls a lot better, guys. So that's something that I didn't totally see coming. Oh, what are we forgetting, guys? What are we forgetting? I think that's it, guys. So roughly in order of upgrade, electronics is huge, guys, and like I said, if you buy some quality stuff, it's going to last you a long time, guys. Like this 1080 ESC, you're going to use that thing for a long time. You know, you're going to run that in more than one crawler. You know, you got to do something pretty heinous to kill an ESC. Motor, same thing. I mean, these little modded 540s that you can get on eBay, a dime a dozen, they're not bad, guys. Like this is a decent quality motor for a small amount of money. It's got oversized bearings. The brushes are replaceable. You know, seems super durable, guys. Like I had it out for an hour today and it didn't even get warm. Like it was barely warm to the touch, guys. So, you know, if you know anything about RC cars, if your motor's barely getting warm, it's going to last a long time, guys. So a lot of the stuff for crawlers, you don't really need anything super expensive. Like this 1080 ESC is probably the most expensive thing I would highly recommend buying, and it's only $65 Canadian, like $50 American. That's not that much, guys. The servo does make a big difference, guys. A big torquey servo, your steering improves significantly. Like it works with that wimpy 12 scale WLToys servo. But if you're in some heavy crawling, definitely the better servo makes a big difference. It's a pretty significant upgrade. These axles, actually, for what it's worth, and I'll try and show a picture of the ones I'm running in my rock bouncer project. They're a nice fancy schmancy set of metal axles, guys, and the only reason I have them is because I got them insanely cheap, like so cheap it's terrifying. And I actually wouldn't recommend them, guys. Like, I got them so cheap that I'm not upset at all. Like, they're fine. But the metal's really soft, they get scratched up really easy, the pumpkins are absolutely huge, they get in the way. These WLToys axles actually work pretty well, and this 3D printed one, much to my surprise, let's see here, you can see this is all scraped off paint, like I just finally painted it black. This is a prototype that I printed with a low quality setting, and the only thing I've changed is the outer parts, and that was changing geometry, guys. I didn't change them because they broke. The only thing I've broken is that steering knuckle, and it didn't actually break driving. It broke torquing, the same screw in and out like 4 times, and part of the standoff broke. So, these parts have held up pretty well, guys. And have I beat the crap out of this? No, but it's rolled over many times. It's whacked into things. It's gone down the stairs, like literally. I mean, I'm trying to think. I have broken a couple of things, but nothing of substance, guys. I'm trying to think here. What did I break? Oh, this one bumper mount. This is a funny one, guys. From whacking into things, the one side of this bumper mount, oh, it's not loose because I stuck some super glue in there to try and anchor the screw. Oops, can't see it. This one side was super loose, guys, because the screw basically got yanked right out of the plastic. And all I did was I stuck in some super glue and ran the screw back in and just let it dry, and obviously you can see now, like, it doesn't move at all, guys. So yeah, I mean, I broke that, probably going down the stairs. Oh, I broke one of these running boards, literally putting my hand right on it and, accidentally pressing down super hard. And I fixed that with some hot glue, and I'm still running it, guys. I didn't even have to put a new one on. I'm trying to think here. I don't think I've broken anything. And in the WLToys, the only thing I've broken in the actual WLToys is 2 of the outer drive shafts in the front, guys. And where it broke was at the CB joint, guys. So most of it's still usable, and you can actually get a inner drive shaft part with just that CB end, and that's the part that broke on mine. So you can easily just replace those for like $4, I think was what I got them for on Banggood, a pair of them for like $4. So essentially the 2 that I broke are now fixed because I never throw anything away, so I still had them lying around. I haven't stripped any gears. I haven't wrecked any bearings. Yeah, I don't think I have broken very little, guys. And I have not been cruel to it. I cannot say I've been cruel to it, guys. But it went down the stairs, like like 12 stairs. It was a pretty nasty crash. Didn't break anything. And considering how much of this is 3D printed, guys, it's kind of surprising. So anyways, oh, the drive shaft, that's right, that's the one thing I did break. I spun my 3D printed drive shaft. But again, I didn't think it would last at all. Like, I thought that thing would die instantly, first time I drove it. Did it? No, it actually lasted quite a while, guys. And I was driving it in the winter, like it lasted in cold weather. So anyways, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good, guys, in my opinion. Like, is there a lot of WLToys left in this thing? No, but the cheapest you can get a set of axles right now, guys, is $60 for something that looks worth buying. That's not nothing. So I'm running $60 worth of WLToys axles, and works all right, guys. And I mean, obviously, there's plenty of upgrades to be had. Like, you could throw in a set of Red Cat Gen 8 axles, with portals and wicked ground clearance. That's going to cost you 130 Canadian bucks, about $100 American. Totally worth it. I mean, those axles are awesome, guys. You can order those off the interweb and slap them in your crawler, and you're just out of pocket for those axles. A million different metal Chinese axles. Those ones, guys, like I said, the set I have, they're nice, they're pretty. The metal's really soft, they get chewed up really easy when they bounce off of rocks. Like mine, I had them out literally, I think, twice. And the number of scratches in the bottom of the pumpkins is kind of messed up, guys. So, some of those well, I mean, they look the same, guys. They look exactly the same as the ones I bought. I got them for $78 Canadian. They're routinely 150 bucks Canadian. Routinely. And all I can tell you is I would not pay that much for them. Not in a million years. I would buy a set of, like I said, a set of those red cap portal axles, or I'm trying to remember. There's another set I saw. Who made those? I don't remember. There was another set I saw that looked totally worth buying, guys, and they weren't crazy expensive. They were plastic housings, guys. In my opinion, nylon housings are not a huge problem, guys, and yeah, whatever. Anyways, those metal ones are definitely overrated. If you're buying it, to look nice, they're probably worth the money, guys. But those all metal Chinese crawlers, I can tell you right now, they're okay. They're kind of pricey for what you're getting, in my opinion, guys. Like, I would definitely go with a Red Cat or a Traxxas, or even the Viteras are pretty nice. There are lots of crawlers to choose from, guys, and the axials are nice. I think the axials are a little overpriced myself, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, anyway, so there you go, guys. That's kind of the walkthrough. And like I said, I've said this a million times, but if you have a WLToys kicking around and you're tired of it and you want to get into a crawler, give that kit that I posted a try, and you're basically building an axial SCX tank clone, and it works okay. The more upgrades you do, the better it works, guys. It's as simple as that. If you want something that's got all the upgrades already, and you probably end up spending a little less money in the long run, just buy yourself a ready-to-run crawler, and then make it your own with some customization. But if you want to do some work and get some experience of what works and what doesn't, building one from scratch is not a bad way to go, guys. And I mean, am I a crawler guru at this point? I wouldn't say so, but I'll tell you, I know a lot more about crawlers than when I started this thing. And like I said, I mean, it's something as simple as this 540 motor with this gearbox works a lot better than a 550 with this gearbox. That's kind of a surprise. I'm actually tempted to put a 540 in my Red Cat and see if it works better in that too. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The RC hobby, they seem to, when something becomes a trend and people fall for it, all of a sudden everybody's doing it. And you see 550 motors in everything these days. And all I can tell you guys, like touring cars, for example, like I have yet to see a touring car with a 550 motor that's running particularly fast, and by my definition of fast, like it's I mean, you run a low turn count 540 and things go fast, guys. It's yeah, whatever. Anyway, that 540 motor there, guys, that was a real surprise. I didn't expect it to crawl so much better. I was curious. I thought, actually, what it amounted to, guys, just so you know what my thinking was, I did some math, and this 21 turn 540 definitely should knock down the RPMs compared to this 17 turn 550, I believe is what this is, if I remember correctly. I think this is I believe this is a 17 turn. So I figured a 21 turn right there, it's going to turn less RPMs, and that's going to make it crawl better. And maybe that's all it is, guys. Maybe that's the only difference. But one thing I can tell you is that 540's got a lot more, quote unquote compression than a 550 does. Like it's got way more magnetic oomph at rest, guys. And 550s are supposed to be more torquey, but boy, it sure doesn't feel that way. And I mean, maybe it's just that the horsepower of these 540s comes on real low, guys. I mean, that could be all it takes. The 550's high torque, but low initial starting power, and that's going to make a big difference. I'm not 100% sure, guys, but like I said, with this gearbox, 540 better. As long as the gearing's right. If the gearing's out to lunch, all bets are off. Obviously, guys, gearing is very important. But yeah, so there's lots of lessons to be learned, guys. And like I said, these 1080 ESCs, yeah, they're really good for the money, guys. Really good. Especially if you like tweaking settings, guys. They got lots of settings. If you don't like settings, then this hex fly that comes with the Red Cat's actually really good, guys. In my opinion, this is a solid crawler ESC, guys. It's it's got really good control, really good crawling control, guys. Makes a huge difference sticking it into this thing. Like it's a total upgrade, guys. I've tried a couple of the other ESCs in it, like just little 40, 60 amp ESCs, and they're definitely not as good. You know, the control and the crawling is not even close. Like a crawler ESC does make a difference, so keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, there you go. I think I'm going to wrap it up because I've been babbling on and on for a long time here, but I hope that's enough information for you. And yeah, obviously, not that much WLToys left in this thing, but you know, I've run a ton of the WLToys parts along the way, and it definitely does work, guys. But all the upgrades have turned this into a legit crawler, guys. Based on footage I've seen, it's pretty much on par with an SCX-10. You know, obviously that's pretty much what it is. So you know, there shouldn't be too much difference. But you know, those initial SCX-10s, those old ones, the first gen and second gen SCX-10s, you know, they're not the be all and end all of crawlers, guys. There's a reason that newer, fancier ones have come out, and you know, but yeah, it's pretty good. So there you go. Now I'm going to shut up and call it a day. That's it. And last but not least, we pose the eternal question: do you wrench to drive, or do you drive to wrench? See you next time.